this is Reagan and this is my cultural minority project. I'm gonna flip it around so I can show you my presentation board. Alrighty, so I did mine on the Maori people of New Zealand, and I chose this culture, this tribe, this group of natives because I actually have family in New Zealand and I've visited New Zealand before, so it had a little something special. So Maori. And then over here we have a hungai, and this is basically a sacred meeting of sorts. It's the utmost respect. This kind of touching noses here. It's Kate Middleton, try and make it relevant. And then we also have a population, New Zealand itself, and then the Maori population. So over time, the estimated growth is steadily increasing, which is good. And then I put style, but there are Maori people who wear just your typical clothes, but there are more traditional clothing that you kind of see here with the feathers to keep warm, oftentimes headpieces, and then we have something that makes them really special, and this is the tattooing. This is a man, and he has tattoo all over his face, and the women normally have it just underneath this kind of cheek area, more so on your chin, and that's pretty typical of all. And then you can kind of see that in this picture of some kids. All the girls have it on their chins and the boys have it spread around their face. And then we have down here, dance is a very popular way to kind of entertain, express, and celebrate tradition, celebrate holidays, just very common. And then I actually have an example from my trip not too long ago. Excuse the terrible picture, it was a while, but I visited a school, and these girls right here are doing a poi dance, and it's Maori for song. And they had these little, I'll call them palms if you will, and they would dance with them, and it was a really neat experience. And then other kind of things that would be considered fun or to do in your spare time is this. These little boys are sledding, or you can consider it maybe tobogganing just because there is no snow. And then right here we have a doll made out of wood, and it's kind of, if you can tell, the different pieces are separated. And then here, which is the craft that I did, it's kind of hard to see, but they have strings, and it's basically like the string art. And this is my project. I did the Jacob's Ladder of the string games, and it's way, or Y. And it's harder than it looks. I know mine's pretty bad, but it's kind of interesting to do and see like all these children, that's how they pass time, and it's kind of unique, and I never really even considered it. And then up here, we have their belief system. So we have really common use of the masks. You'll see them a lot in like here when the signing of the treaty between the English who came up on the island and the Maori people was signed here, so it's very significant. But you can kind of see that design around the temple area itself, which is kind of cool. And these masks are just masks to use to celebrate either certain gods, if you will, or even just, it's hard, maybe just to celebrate. This may mean strength in life, or this may mean happiness, and the list goes on. And the same for the tiki. This is very common. I actually have one of these, but I couldn't find it for my presentation, but they're really cool, and they're really common, extremely common. This little tiki figure here made out of a special kind of like a green stone, which is kind of neat. And it basically has the power to continue throughout generation to generation, and kind of a unique thing. And then we have sacred places. So this is Rotorua. It's a city now in New Zealand. But really you just have all these different, like this is a national park, and down here we have the bay. But and over here, just these different places where we look at it. And this little mountain right here is like the connection to another world, that heavenly almost, if you will, connection. And it's kind of really these beautiful places like this. It's a picture of a tree, but it's part of this mystical kind of forest. And I actually have a picture of the temple from when I went. It's right here. I was young, so please excuse the picture, but there's that kind of original gate and walk through, and that's where all the Maori meeting house is, and it's really cool to go and see. And then what I thought was interesting was I had this book from when I originally visited. It's The Native Animals of New Zealand. And although it's not necessarily a young children's book with lots of pictures, it does give you a little bit about the animals, the different species, the plants, and it's kind of a really cool book to try and teach kids about all these different things. And then also when you're learning about the recipes and all that, you can kind of make sense of why they would make this over this, just out of what they have available. The ocean, because New Zealand is a fairly small island, you have the ocean within short distances on either side of you, so there's a lot of fish incorporated in their meals and all that fun stuff. So it's kind of cool to see. And then just kind of see my project here. Alrighty. And that's it. Thank you for watching.